That's my fault, everybody.
Or earlier. Depends
well-
on, depending on how you're thinking about it.
Yeah, earlier for me, later for everybody watching in the States, because I totally forgot about daylight saving times being a whole week separated for the two countries. But we're back. As is in the description, last session we had a bit of a not a falling out, kind of a falling out with the party. So I'm interested to see how we get back together this week. So that's where we are. So take it away, GM.
Cherry bomb. Hey, how's it going? Yeah. In many ways, we have fulfilled the objective of this chapter. Its name, at least, and kaboom. So part of this kaboom is we're gonna kind of do a little bit of this is what these people are doing, and this is what this people are doing, and so on and so forth. Until we get to a point where we're like, oh, this is what we're doing. Going to try to do some of it a little bit detailed, and then we'll get into a more bird's eye view in some aspects of this. Currently, we're at the camp of Ashra and Banthor, and they've set up a small camp after Banthor has finally convinced Ashra to stop walking, and we need to rest. Ashra is distant and in her own world, shall we say. When they finally do come to a stopping point, Banthor sets up a fire and puts out some water and goes over to Ashra and gently touches him on the shoulder and gives them the blessing of the tree. And even though Ashra was a little standoffish about it, was in her heart grateful, but also kind of annoyed in the way that the world keeps moving against her wishes. Banthor, you sit down for a meditative state and to rest, to regain your connection with the tree and prepare for the next day. Right when you get into the deep part of your meditation where you feel that slight connection to the tree, some images flash before you that startle you, and vines start to creep around you and grasp you and put you in a cocoon, and for a moment you're like, oh, what the... Oh, hi, it's you, the tree. I feel you. And for a moment you hear his voice, a childlike voice, that of a boy, and he asks you, or tells you that he has no friends, and you said that you would be his friend, and it's good, you might need these glasses. Here, put these on. And he hands you a pair of these, they're more like VR goggles. And in your mind, you put these VR goggles on, and you could see the the dwarven writing that was on the road in your mind, and you could read this as a prayer to Sylvanas, asking for forgiveness for making this road through the forest, but also asking for his blessing to help continue this road so that other roads don't have to be built. And we'll look for a good, clean, open area to make our home. So basically, it's kind of an agreement with Sylvanas. Allow us this little bit of destruction, and we will, continue not to be destructive. Do you accept these goggles, these almost futuristic looking apparatus? That, remember, you're in a meditative state, so this looks like something that might have come out of the rocket ship, actually, that you just were in. It has some of that. Okay. So now, when you see writings that are unfamiliar to you, you will be able to read them. Does it take an action, or you just kind of like, I just, start reading?
It looks like it's just a passive. And it just says you can read all writing. So
yeah, it's an always active thing.
Okay, right.
Yeah, so
That way I know it's not something that you have to activate.
No, it's just always. He can just read any type of writing. It's, again, like you said, he has like a translator basically in his eyes.
Right.
Yeah, so I read it as I don't know what the language is.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of morphs, like
right.
Tree magic morphs, and I can. It's I pretty much just read it.
Okay. All right. And then he says, I have these robes for you as well. If you wear them, I can protect you. But there's a stipulation. These are the only robes that you can wear, or armor that you can don. But I think they look pretty stylish, actually. And these long, leather-like green trench coat he hands you. And it has pockets inside that you find, and pockets for your hands. And it actually has a rather large collar that you can flip up. And not quite hood, but it definitely, can go over the back of your neck and wrap around your neck and such. It has little buckles. It's kind of Neo trench coat, but it's green.
I'm gonna take the coat and say green is so my color, and then I put it.
I was hoping so. Yeah, this is an image from my world. Anyhow, you help him with his book. Excuse me. Help them with their book. My apologies. It will take you places. And then you wake up and you can see Ashra kind of laying there asleep. And the fire looks like it's been burning for about 4 or so hours. You've had your long rest and a communication, a slight, though you thought it was just a small conversation, seems like it's taken you the 4 hours. And you have long rest, and you can level up into the Warlock if you haven't already.
I have those stats on there. I'm gonna throw a couple of logs on the fire, keep it going.
Okay.
And I'm going to take off my leather armor.
Okay. So sitting in your lap, actually, I should say, is this trench coat. Now, you don't have to wear the trench coat, but you can if you want. Either way, your armor, blah, you can do it as you will. So, I'm just giving you the option to wear a green trench coat that goes down to your ankles, kind of thing, if you wanted to. You could just say, "Wow, that's kind of cool. I don't know if that's my style," and like put it in your backpack, and you still have that invocation. There we go. So you don't have to wear the trench coat to use the invocation, and then you notice that you don't have these goggles on your face or anything. It was more of a metaphorical, meditative image.
I'll store the trench coat, and I'll just keep my my common clothes on.
All right. Okay. You notice that the woods are quiet. Like, you weren't really paying much attention to it before when you were walking or setting up camp, but now that you've kind of taken a moment, rested, and you can tell that the woods are deeply quiet. You stand up and standing kind of upright is the warhammer or the sledgehammer that was at the temple, kind of sitting there, and you look around the camp real quick, like that wasn't here before, and you can notice that there's a slip of paper or what have you, kind of tucked right into Ashura's role, shall we say. Ashura seems, still asleep and just kind of rolls over a little bit. You notice that the patches of skin that were distorted from the temple, from the acid, have been healed from your spell. Just looks calm and yet still asleep.
Go ahead and grab that warhammer and just stash it in the bag, or fasten it to the outside of the bag.
Okay. Let's see. Is that considered a simple weapon or a martial weapon?
Martial.
It is martial. Okay. Though you're not familiar with the use of warhammer and such, you can tell that this is, the materials of this are well crafted. So it's not just a normal hammer. This might have some value to it, if nothing else. You stash it away. Anything in particular you want to do before Ashura wakes up?
I'm going to go ahead and cast mage armor just to get a hang of it.
Okay. So what's that do for your armor class?
$13 plus Dex mod.
Right. So that would be shoot up to 15.
Okay. All right. And this is at will, correct?
Correct.
Yep.
Does it work while you are sleeping?
It is at will, and it is a non-concentration spell, so it will work, and it lasts for 8 hours.
8 hours. Okay. All right. So as long as it doesn't go off, stop while you're in the middle of sleeping or something like that, or incapacitation.
Pretty much the only way to stop it is if someone dispels it.
Okay. All right. That's great.
Or the time runs out. But since he can do it at will, he can just instant cast it again.
It's not silenced or anything. I do need verbal and somatic.
Okay.
And there's a material component, so I'd have to have my focus on.
Don't. Does it normally take the material component out of that?
Yeah, a piece of cured leather.
Yeah. So, focus or component found.
Okay. Yeah. So, it's not that hard. Put down the water. I'm going to take a 2-minute real quick and get some more water. Guzzling it down for some reason. I'll be right back. And if there's nothing else, Ashra, you can wake up and y'all can have a conversation if you like, or you can wait for me to return. I'll let you. I'll make that decision. Be back in a second.
Mhm.
Any idea how to cast this in D&D Beyond? It's just force my armor class.
You would have to adjust your AC manually. Fortunately, like, as far as I know, there's no way to like cast it and make it apply. You just kind of have to adjust it yourself or remember.
What, it doesn't just do it where you hit cast and it alters the armor class?
As far as I know, when you hit the cast button, it just marks off one of the boxes for spell slots.
Instead of a cast button, it just says at will. And when I hit the button to quote unquote cast it, it just links it to roll.
To the roll player.
I just got it listed as a +3 magic bonus to my AC. Just made a note, mage armor.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, except
So, for the next Sunday, I should be caught up to you guys with daylight savings time change.
Cool. Of course, caught me and I'm like, wait, what? As I turned on the computer. Great.
Yeah. I know we talked about it last week, didn't we? And I still somehow
Uh-huh.
forgot.
I use my phone for everything, so luckily it just auto moved, so my alarm went off. I got up and looked at the normal clock, and I'm like, oh, I hope this isn't off.
Yeah, if I do the same thing. I rely on my phone for it all. And I think if it wasn't for the fact that Sweden changes a week after the States does, everything would have been fine. But since we wait a whole week after the States changes, it's like I didn't stand a chance.
Right. Yeah, it's gonna know where you're at and know not to do it yet.
Yeah.
I bet that's weird with commerce. I was putting my headset on, and you know how you said you are a week behind or something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for a while, you're like, oh yeah, they're 7 hours or whatever, you know, or 5 hours. I don't know.
Yeah, well, for this week, let's see, you move forward, right?
Yeah, spring forward.
So you, instead of being 6 hours behind me, or behind me, you're now 5 hours behind me for 1
Okay.
week. And then when we move the clocks backwards, you'll be behind me for 7 hours for 1 week. But then the rest of the time, it's always a 6 hour difference.
Gotcha. Mm-mm-mm.
It's always math.
Yeah, well, we should stop meddling with ourselves. There's so many, the kids, it takes them a while to really, you know. My son was all like, I woke up and I heard you talking, but then I looked at my clock and it said 7:13, and I was confused, and then I looked at the iPad and I'm like, oh yeah, bring forward.
Mm-hmm.
And I was still confused.
Yeah. You know, the only one I care about is okay is when the clock goes backwards. It's like, I gained an extra hour this day.
Yeah. He's like, how did we lose an hour? I'm like, well, we have to go to sleep an hour earlier, so it tells you you've lost an hour. You know?
Yeah.
You know, because he's like, how do we figure out that we lost an hour? I'm like, well, your clock is going to say 7:30 when you go to bed tonight. He goes, oh, yep, there you go. You lost an hour, son.
Yeah. It's horrible.
It is. We just let him play Fortnite. He's 11 years old, and we just let him start playing Fortnite with his friends, generally speaking. And just came out with a new mod, so he's like, I want to play Fortnite. Nobody's awake. Anyhow, so because he only gets to play an hour a day, so he wants to play with his friends and stuff. Anyhow, that's what took me a little bit longer coming back to the table. But anyhow, did y'all talk any, or y'all wanted to wait?
I think we more or less just waited. We talked a little bit about the online game stuff.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
He was wanting to know how to adjust his AC for mage armor. So.
Since it's going to be a all-time kind of thing, for the most part, we can, I guess, maybe override your base.
Yeah, I manually adjusted it. I just put a +3 and then just made a note mage armor.
Right.
If any, I'm pretty much just gonna, when I feel it wear off, I'm just gonna, off screen reapply it. Just let me know if I'm ever in like a silence aura or I'm dispelled or something, and then I'll turn that off temporarily.
I mean, and I wouldn't, if you could do it at will, it doesn't mean that you could turn it off at will. I would assume anyhow. So you could say, okay, we're about to go into combat. Off, on. So now, for the next 8 hours, no matter what, you get incapacitated, blah, you've got it on for 8 hours and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's like, reset. I'm going to reset my armor. So at any point, you could just reset your armor. So we can assume if we get into a scene, as long as you're not taken by surprise. Well, I mean, it doesn't take an action, right? Does it take an action to do it? Or I guess the spell itself takes an action.
Yeah, the casting time is an action.
Yeah.
Yeah, the normal casting time is an action, but pretty much it's assumed that it's one of those things you wake up and you cast it and you don't have to worry about it for the rest of the day. You know?
Right.
And to be clear, mage armor can be cast on others normally. It's specifically casted on myself at level 1 at will, so I can't use this on anybody else.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I was kind of wondering about that a little bit. Because I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool. You know, you just drop it on Asha. But
Yeah, no, it's written in the invocation that that's only you can only cast it on yourself. So.
All right, so if there's nothing else major, we'll go ahead and have Ashra wake up so that they can read their note and go from there.
Mm-hmm.
If there's nothing for Ben, we'll go ahead and Ashra, you wake up and you can read the note and action.
Wait! What's my line? Oh.
I know, right? I know. Like, you've had this note for a while, dude. It's on you, yo.
No, so, like, she wakes up. She just, sits up in place where she is and notices the note. Takes a look at it, kind of wipes her eyes, looks at the note, wipes her eyes again.
Banthor, would you have been like waiting, like, okay, I want to know what the note is. I know what's the note. What's it say? What's it say? Or would you like, give her space or what?
After while Ash was sleeping, and I was putting the hammer up, I'd pick the note up and see it was addressed to Ash, and then just put it next to her, and I wouldn't have read it.
Okay. And then as she wakes up, are you like waiting, or are you kind of in the background, or
I'm just kind of in the background waiting. I put this in my bag intentionally so that Ash can see the warhammer.
Okay. All right. Got it. Okay, Ash.
Yeah. She reads the note. She kind of takes a moment, reads it a few times to be sure that what she's reading, and it is a thing where she's kind of, again, sitting there, and she kind of just wraps her arms around her legs, kind of draws into herself again. And she kind of just folds the note, sticks it in her pocket. And it's for a second that she's like closing in on herself. There's like this aura that kind of starts shimmering around her before it vanishes. And she just self-consciously cast mage armor on herself.
Thanks, Banthor. I got this.
So, and like, not even realizing she did it herself, man. She's like, did that. And then she's kind of looking down at her knees, and then she takes it, she looks up, glances up, sees that the hammer is there. Which then reminds her that she still has that cube that she picked up.
Yeah, it's basically an iPad.
Yeah. And she pulls that out and starts looking at that. Like, she's not like looking at like trying to turn it on or anything. She's looking at like just examining it.
Mm-hmm.
Sighs to herself and like puts it away, stands up without much like ceremony or anything, and just starts to pack up. Like, We should go.
I'll remind you, Vanthor, that the animal life hasn't really sparked back up. It's been very quiet since you've been here the whole 8 hours at camp.
Eerily quiet.
Yeah, eerily quiet and such. Ashra may not pick up on that, really, especially with the mindset. That'd be, I'll leave that up to you and such.
Let's be cautious because it's a little too quiet for my comfort. Normally there's, I'll hear skitterings and whatnot of the wildlife, but I'm not really getting much of anything. I don't know why. But
She kind of glances around as you say that. Kind of just looking at the trees. And then just looks back. Gives a curt nod once again. like she's acknowledging what you're saying. She's listening. So go ahead.
Vanthor, if you want, you can roll. Hold on, please. Nature. To get a better understanding. And then, so y'all want to pack up and.
Yeah, she wants to pack up and go.
You think that it's an ill omen that the forest is this quiet, and that you need to take every precaution to not run into any surprised, attack or something like this. So, you advise that you should have a slower walking pace, so that you can pay more attention to your surroundings.
I'm just convinced this place is cursed.
Right. And yeah, go for it. Sorry, my bad.
Ash, I'm 100% sure that this place is cursed. I think all the animals left because there's something. There's some trickery going on, or a curse or something like that. So let's just watch our step.
She's gonna mutters to herself as she's getting her things together. But the one thing you kind of make out is that, well, of course, what just happened? I wouldn't. She. Also, one thing you might have noticed is her hair is a little bit darker than it was. Not too much, but just a twinge darker if you were paying attention.
He does have a passive perception of 15, so it might be something that you would notice. Especially since, she's been very monotone in her attire and things like that. So, dude,
Ash, did you get some soot in your hair or something? It seems a little different. I still got some water here if you need to wash it out.
She looks back at you when you say that, and then I don't know if she would have a mirror. I don't think so. I think she would take a bowl and fill it with some water to kind of look at the reflection if she could.
Yeah, he's got he uses druid magic and made some water in a bowl. So
Yeah, so she would kind of look at the reflection, curse to herself, and say, "It's fine, fine. We should keep moving."
Okay. That's fine with me.
So as you go along, you still notice that it is quiet. And let's see, trying to. Okay. I'm gonna give you all guys a moment. I'm gonna go to Kellum for a bit, and then we'll get back to you guys. Before we get back to you, Kellum, and before we start with you, Kellum, excuse me. Not to push you, Banthor, but you have like some things that you can talk about to get Ashra on a different path than they are currently. But we're going to go to Kellum and talk with him for a little while. Kellum, you're burning this
Body.
Construct.
Construct. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. And to the point that it becomes a rock, basically, or one piece. Is that what your intentions are?
Until it's ash.
Well, I don't know if you're going to get ash, but you will get. Yeah, I mean, you can. There's some metal in here that's not going to, so much go to ash, but you can make a big pile of wood. You do have your hand axes, and you can go about chopping some wood. How much time would you like to take doing this, or your objective is what you're going for? You don't care exactly how much time it takes.
Yeah, I don't really care about how much time it takes. I'm after that singular objective. I will say, though, if I didn't clarify it originally, any metal I would hold on to, like if it's just like a sheet metal or a sheet of metal, whatever kind of metal it is, I would hold on to that with the intention of turning that into some kind of armor at some point in time. But all the other things that make this it is a construct, like the things I wouldn't recognize. It's like, oh, this is whatever special technology this place had that made this thing move, that gets burnt. So I don't know what all was exactly in there, but so I'm assuming a little bit of meta here, like wires, joint parts, that kind of thing. I'd be trying to put in there to just burn.
So I'll give you the. So would you like the character? Would you like the information I give you to be Kellum's information, or the information I give you to be the player's information about what you receive from this?
Let's for now, maybe later I'll have you give me more details if I get to a point where I can't really decide what to do with things. But for now, let's stick with what the character knows.
Kellum?
Yeah, what Kellum knows, yeah.
Okay, all right. So you get 2 large pieces of metal from the chest of the abdomen area that it has, and you look at it and you're like, well, we could probably fashion some sort of breastplate, or cut it down into scale mail, things like that. And then you grab a couple, like the arms and the legs have some as well. And, these could be fashioned into other things. So there would be 1 set of large plates.
Okay.
And 6, 3 sets of small plates.
So 1 set of large plates and 3 sets of small plates. Is that what constitutes a set?
So front and back, for the large kind of looks like I said, you could make a whole chest plate of armor with that.
Okay.
And the other smaller plates, could be fashioned. There's enough of them that could be, fashioned into other smaller pieces of armor, or could be utilized. This is enough maybe to make a dagger or a short sword. That is a set kind of thing. So
Okay.
you're kind of just looking at it as like, okay, weight wise, and stuff like, okay, this is enough to do something with. So I got 3 small things of enough to do something with, and then I've got this one big set that I could probably make some armor with, So.
All right.
Would you work through the night, fending off exhaustion and getting the job done, or would you, do as much as you can, get a good fire started, and then work on it, and 4 or 5 hours later or something like that?
Yeah, I'll take breaks here and there. I'll set up. First of all, I'll set up like a perimeter, string attached to the proverbial cans that'll rattle, kind of thing. Because if I feel like at any point in time that I'm going to have to do some rest, I want to have like some kind of early alert system.
Got it.
To let me know, since I don't have anybody or anything, any creature or anything like that to help me stand guard. So I set that up first, however long that takes. And then I'll work on burning things out. Once I get tired, I'll do the 4-hour meditation and pick it right back up.
Sorry, I'm things at once. So Banthor and Ashra, if y'all wanted to, you don't have to, of course. There are other chat channels that I have available. Just if y'all wanted to go and have a conversation, like I said, y'all don't have to. Or y'all can, type, communicate through
They've been doing
Discord. Yeah. Just letting you know what you have options. So.
Yeah, I'm good to just do the in-game chat so everybody and watching the stream and stuff knows what we're talking about.
Okay, cool. Sounds great.
And wait, which in-game chat?
On Discord at least.
Okay, I don't have that one pulled into Discord right now. It failed
wait a second.
today. But also, if it's happening between your characters, maybe stream doesn't need to know.
Yeah. Okay. A part of your rest, Kellum, and in the back of your mind, you've been thinking about this drum and about a companion for yourself. You are sitting here alone, taking care of this task that has to be done. It has to be done for the grove, has to be done for your friends, yourself, and maybe even the land in the whole, as far as you're concerned. If this thing is let out into the wild, you don't know what would happen. Would it enslave everyone? And seeing what it did to Necro, you're not going to allow that to happen.
Mm.
But as you think of this, the wolf and the drum that you've recently created, and you enter in your meditative state for your rest as the fire is burning brightly and to the side or in front of you so you can see it, maybe even to the back so you can just feel its warmth. And in your mind's eye, you hear a pack of wolves, and there's a particular keen from this pack of wolves that strikes your heart for some reason. It brings sorrow to you, and you can hear that there's this one particular wolf is wounded and still trying to find its pack.
Okay.
You wake from your meditative state, and you can hear the wolves in the distance. You've gathered wood enough to keep their fire going after your meditative state. You have a good bit of it burning and melting away. You could see it, dripping onto the ground in pools of different materials, blackened. You throw the wood that you've got stored on it and keep the fire going. You have a choice. You feel that in the distance you might be able to find what is making this sorrowful noise. Or you can continue chopping wood and burning this down. If you want some more information about what you think the fire will do, you can roll perception, or you don't have any tools, you have bagpipes. Let's see your
How about
perception.
survival, if I can justify it?
Alright, justify it. I think, let's see. Go ahead.
All right. With survival, so survival is straight up all things knowledge about how to survive in the wild, and one of those key parts, especially for Kellum, having living outside of the village, connected to the village but outside the village, he's had to survive on his own, and one of the first things for survival is warmth or fire. So I feel like his survival knowledge and skill would be more beneficial to knowing how the fire is going to operate than perception would be.
All right. I'll bite.
All right. As a 13.
Okay. A 13 survival. So you think that left on its own, from what you can see, your objective is mostly going to be done. These the joints are already starting to, the pieces that are coming together are already starting to melt away and fuse and such. And you have enough wood there to keep the fire going for another 4 or 6 hours. You feel that, in that time, these are already getting to the point where they're not usable. In that, 4 or 6 hours of, continued heat, you're pretty sure that they're going to be unusable at all, and most likely unrecognizable.
Okay.
So it may not obliterate, but you know that in 4 or 6 hours, they're going to be unrecognizable. So
Then I think Kellum would be satisfied.
And all the small stuff is burned away. It's just the big stuff. So
okay. Kellum would be satisfied with feeling that that's going to be the outcome within the next 4 to 6 hours. He'd be satisfied enough with that to venture out for a little while. Of course, he is going to want to come back to confirm that, yes, my prediction was accurate. But he feels he can leave it alone for the amount of time he thinks the fire will keep going, and he'll do his best to get back in time before it goes out so he can add more wood.
Okay. All right.
And then he'll go off looking for the wounded creature.
Okay. Give me another survival check.
All right. That is a 14.
Okay. So you grab what little things you have. Do you keep a? You want to grab any of your bedroll or blah 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 or anything like that, or just leave your camp set?
I will travel light. I'll keep the camp set. However, I just realized I don't know if I ever switched back over to the correct armor. I did not.
Okay.
Let me switch that back.
So the heavier or the lighter armor?
Going to the medium armor now.
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
So that my AC is up to 16 instead of the whatever
Right.
it was before.
Did Necro, did you leave a note for Kellum?
Yeah.
He did.
All right.
Now whether or
As-
not that even got read is not my thing. So hey.
It got read. Kellum will he'll read it. He'll set it off the side. He'll put it with his bagpipes. Yeah, that's all I'll say for now.
Okay.
Kellum is keeping his
And that-
thoughts to himself because he's got nobody to talk to.
Gotcha. Yeah, and that's fine. So you at least read the note, think about it for a moment, and set it aside.
Yeah.
Continue your task. You're like, okay, do your meditative. I've got enough wood. Wake up. Oh, okay. If I throw the wood on there, it gets burning. If I leave this for 6 hours, it's going to do the job. Maybe I should go check this out.
Yep.
You grab up a few things, leave your camp, and set off in the direction with your survival roll that you're pretty sure that's going to lead you where you need to go. You are headed in a southwestern kind of direction. Which would leading you farther away from the grove, but you don't feel like it's going to be days or anything like that. But just going in the southwest direction.
All right. So Kellum is not planning for days. He's basically just carrying
I'm just
weapons.
letting you. Yeah.
He's
Right.
got his long sword, his short sword,
And the
It's
shard.
a short sword. And the shard, and he'll also carry his quiver and bow, just in case he needs to do any range stuff. But other than that, his backpack and everything else is left behind. Just has the bare necessities because he's not planning to really go too far from camp right now.
So you get about 2 hours out, and you hear the noise every once in a while, and it seems like it keeps moving a little bit farther from you. So you're catching up to it, but it's also moving away from you.
Okay.
You get 3.5 hours out, and you feel like you're getting closer, but now you're going to be 6 hours round trip. If you want to make it back to the camp and such. You feel, give me a survival roll and kind of try to gauge, like, if I spend this much more time, I'll catch up to it and such.
Nat 20.
Nat 20. All right, cool. You feel like, okay, at you've had enough, the 3 hours. So I'm like, okay, I've been getting closer to it, but it's been moving away. If I spend another hour, 15 minutes, I'll catch up to it. This depends, 10 minutes here or there, depending on how it's moving and how I move. And then you can as you get closer, you can decide if you want to get in more stealth mode or if you're going to go try to, get to it as fast as possible. What would you like to do?
Hold on. Explain those two options one more time.
Sure. So you feel like you've got another hour, give or take 15 minutes, to get to the target. This
Okay.
howling, and you're pretty sure by now that it is a wolf that is howling.
Mhm.
It seems to be injured or something. You feel, there's some kind of, distress. There we go. That is going on here.
Okay.
And then when you get to a certain point, you're like, if you continue going, then you can, when you feel like you're getting close, you can either decide to go stealth or, keep moving forward or go faster, kind of thing like that. That's all I would say.
Okay. Yeah, I've. All right.
It is going to stretch your original timeline out.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm still gonna be allowed to go back to the camp, though, right?
Yeah. I'm not.
Yeah, especially since I left all my gear there, my
Right.
bagpipes. All right, yeah, I'll keep on going to the wolf. I got a plan for the fire afterwards that will hopefully still work out.
Okay. So you head closer, and you've actually gotten yourself. Let me see real quick. Oh, no problem. Come here. You can hear a large body of water, a river, to the distance as you start getting closer to your prey, shall we say, this wounded wolf. It's fairly loud, so it sounds like there might be a waterfall or something like that, or maybe rapids in this area. It might, help with any noise or anything like that. How would you like your approach to be? Are you rushing to see, to help the wounded animal? Are you going to sneak in and see if you can see the wounded animal?
Well, I've been walking at a brisk pace so far,
Right.
and catching up to it. Although it's still, it's. I'll run, because I'm like, hearing the rapids and everything. I wouldn't want this creature to attempt to go across, so I'm going to run to make sure it doesn't attempt to cross the rapids on its own.
Okay. When you get to the edge of the forest and you run up to the river, you see a large white wolf standing on the other side of the river.
On the other side.
On the other side.
Okay.
It is haggard and, wet from crossing the river. You don't see any signs of being wounded from where you're at, and there's no blood or anything on your side of the river. It looks like you've pretty much come to the same place that it went across. And you can see that the wolf is looking past on the other side of the river, and it's looking up. And as you follow its gaze, you can see a pack of winter wolves standing there. And they don't seem to notice you. they're looking at this one wolf, and you can see that these winter wolves, because they're huge creatures, they can't be mistaken for anything else. And you've seen one already up close. They seem to be. Well, actually, give me a nature check. A 9. They don't seem to be welcoming. They're not really growling, but they're all in a defensive position towards this other wolf.
Defending themselves from the wounded one.
I wouldn't say defending themselves, but they're not in a friendly posture. You can see that their posturing is not like welcoming.
I got a theory. He was the alpha and he just lost, and now he's being cast out. Maybe.
I say nothing.
Say nothing. Typical GM.
If you want, you can pick a skill. We have animal handling. We have Arcana.
I was just about to ask for animal handling.
I'm going to give you a couple options. Well, first we'll do the animal handling. Go ahead.
Okay. So that's a 16.
All right. So there's very possible some kind of scenario like this happening. You see the wolf is, from your perspective, it seems like this wolf is a little bit smaller from the other ones. So it might be that it's the opposite of that. That it was, that this animal is lower on the totem pole and is being forced out.
Mm-hmm.
And such. So, a smaller creature, a runt, shall we say, and is being pushed away from the pack. It starts to move forwards towards the pack, and they all kind of growl. And one in particular that looks a little bit larger than the rest steps forward or pushes its way through the pack, and it gives a uncommon bark for a wolf. And you hear him say something, but you can't quite make out what he says. But you do hear him speak. And he turns around, and they all start to follow this wolf. For a moment, the wounded or distressed wolf on the river just sits there and kind of is trying to figure out what it's going to do next. All right. Give me a medicine or a survival check. Tell.
We'll go survival.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 12.
All right. 12. You can tell that the wolf in question does look diminutive, like smaller, malnourished. Excuse me. So it is possibly very hungry as well.
Okay.
It's still sitting on the bank, kind of trying to figure out what it's doing. You can see its dilemma. It wants to follow, but it is also, you can see that it's very afraid of following as well. So the wolf pack is moving away. After a while, you know that they will be out of sight.
All right. I would like to use animal handling to attempt to communicate to this wounded wolf that I will. I am friendly. I am willing to help it, and if it comes with me, I can give it food at my camp.
So you're on one side of the river. and it's on the other. You can try to visually get its attention, or you could yell at it.
So
you know you're going to have.
Sorry, go ahead.
You know with the noise of the river that you're going to have to be loud to get its attention.
What about crossing the river? How difficult would that be?
Could be a survival. Yeah. Let me look at survival real quick. Yeah, give me a survival check.
19.
19? Okay. You know that it'd be difficult, but not as long as you don't make a critical failure, shall we say. You shouldn't have any difficulties with your level of athletics.
All right.
So you can make 2 high roll. Excuse me. You can make 2 medium kind of rolls or 1 high roll to make it across the river.
All right.
The higher roll will be more of a chance, but you only have to do 1 roll. But the other one will be a little easier, but you have to make 2. So
I have to decide.
There's two different paths. You can okay, I can go this way and have one I got to make it across this. But once I do that, the rest is easy. Or you can I go to this path. It's going to be a little easier, but there's 2 tricky spots.
We'll go with the 2 tricky spots.
All right, go for it. First one. You got to jump across
21.
this. 21?
Mm-hmm.
All right, you jump across this rock, and it has some moss on it, but you stick it, and you're okay, that wasn't too bad. Now you do have to get into the water at this point, but it's mostly at thigh level, so you should be able to transverse it. But there's one spot where you do have to get in, up to your waist and such. So that's going to be the tricky spot. Go ahead. The 16.
16. Yep.
All right, that's enough for you to get past through it. So you're making your way. The wolf doesn't notice you at the first intersection, but when you get into the water, he hears you and sees you make the gap to the other side. Give me a second. I'm going to kind of get his attitude.
Roll his attitude, man.
Yeah.
The dice are stacked against me, probably.
Okay. All right. So 15. So what I do is I roll 2 dice, whichever is closer to 10. Basically a high number, farther or closer to 10, helps to determine attitude and things like that. Anyhow, so at first he is startled and whips around and is growling at you. While you are wading through the water, give me an animal handling to quickly try to calm the wolf down.
That's a 20.
That's
Dirty
a
20.
So you're you make eye contact. You're hey, like you said earlier, I can offer you food. I've got some back at my camp. Instinctively you just start talking to the wolf. And he growls at you, and with an old kind of wizened voice, I don't believe you, elf. I should eat you.
Okay, so is this voice coming directly out of the wolf, or is it some kind of telepathy? This may be the player being dumb about D&D.
No. It is speaking to you in common.
Speaking to me in common. Okay.
As you got closer, you could tell that this wolf is older. And that might be part of its, diminutive size.
Oh, okay. What would I have to do to prove to you that I'm telling the truth?
I would smell you, but I could smell you from here. You smell burnt. What are you? Ah, you're disgusting. Get under the water.
Not this water. It's moving too fast.
Ah, smart you are.
I've been
Don't get
burning a threat to this land. A threat to all of us.
The only threat I see is you. Go downstream.
Is my sword drawn? My bow knocked? Or my arrows knocked? And I hold my hands out to my sides, palms facing towards him.
Either way, move downstream. You smell.
Come with me. I'll feed you. I'll heal you. We'll see about getting rid of this smell. Or perhaps showing you what it is I've been burning so that you can appreciate that this is a smell of victory.
Gonna see a thief. Alright.
Come on, 30's got to be good for me, right?
Well, yeah, it's the 19. It's
Yeah.
much further away from the 10 and the 11 and such. So, as long as you stay upwind from me or whatever, yeah, upwind. I can't you smell. Can't even think, and I'm hungry. You better have food, or you will become food.
There will be food. Come. We're about 3 or 4 hours from my camp. This way. And I'll turn
Make
to
your
lead in that
way
direction.
back.
Yeah.
Make your way back. So give me 2 athletic rolls.
That's a 16 and 21.
21. Almost the same thing you made on the way there.
Just
Actually, it is.
It is on the same
It's
spots, yeah.
The exact same rolls on the exact same spots. So
I swear it's D&D Beyond. It's not me.
no, but it's pretty interesting. So you get back up on the other rock and you make your hop up on it easily and get across. And he, even though he's old and such, actually let's do this. Oh, so he falls in the water in the first place and has to catch himself and such. He is faltering some and is possibly in need of assistance.
I will offer a hand, knowing that he's not quite trusting me yet.
Okay, let me see. He doesn't take your help, and he has to try to save himself, which he is not doing very well. He is faltering even more. Do you try to help him again? He growled at you before.
Growled at me before, okay.
Yeah. So
I will try again.
Right. Okay, this time you can tell he begrudgingly allows you to try to help him. Roll athletic.
All right. That's a 23.
Kill him. He's like, dude, he's like, I've been beating this drum for a while. I paid my dice earlier. Now I'm getting my good ones.
Yeah.
You did, because you kind of did in certain places. You were like, these dice are not my friend at all.
They haven't. Although I got to say, my athletics has almost always done well because it is a +5.
Well, I mean, even then, you still,
Yeah, it could go bad. Don't jinx me.
No, I'm just saying you've been rolling well. Your average is, like 20 or 19 or something.
Yeah, today.
So far. Haha, there we go. Got it in. Okay, so you can tell that he's like, okay, and he's very prideful, and you are able to put one arm around his shoulder and kind of lift him up and swim back to shore. You could tell that he's shivering and cold. With your arm around him, or underneath him, whatever, you could tell that he's bone, ribs. He has no muscle structure whatsoever. You're surprised he made it across the river the first time. As you see him floundering to get across this time, you're quite surprised. Must have taken everything he had to get across. And now he has to depend on you to get to the other side. He looks at you and, you still smell, but not as bad. At least you got in the water this time. Lead me to your camp where there better be food.
There is food. You'll find that I am not one to lie.
We shall see, Dark Elf. Oh, that's the wrong button. Yeah, he takes on a very distrustful pattern again. Even though you helped save his life, you're sure of. He immediately gets into this posture and doubles down into this. Not trusting you and keeping his eye on you, but also keeping you, upwind so he doesn't have to smell you.
Yeah.
Lead on.
I will lead him to camp.
You better start a fire too.
That will be easy enough.
So he follows you ever so begrudgingly. Do you have a conversation, or you want to wait till you get to camp?
I'll wait till we get to camp. He doesn't seem to be the conversation type. So I will just kind of, mold my characteristics to what he wants right now.
Mm-hmm.
Until I earn his trust.
Okay. He starts to trot a little bit, to get the pace, instead of a slow walk. He, puts in a little bit of a trot and, outpaces you a little bit and stops and waits for you. And he goes, "Is it this direction? We can hurry."
I didn't want to cause you any other pain.
Yeah.
And I'll run.
All right, and he'll keep up with you. It is difficult, you could tell, for him to keep up with you, but he's keeping up with you.
Okay.
You can roll either animal handling or insight.
We'll go with animal handling.
Okay.
18.
After running for a little, like a half an hour or so, you could tell his disposition has changed. He's not on, his hackles aren't up, he's not on edge. He seems to just be in the moment of running.
Okay.
So he's not paying you any mind, and he doesn't look nervous or anything like that. He's just running and such. We'll let you run for a little bit as we, for a moment, I'm going to go back to Banthor and Ashura.
Mm-hmm.
And let's, do y'all want to verbalize any of your conversation, point in which direction you might be headed? Do you need some inspiration?
Like, How far are we now from the village?
So the trip back to the grove will take a day.
Okay. What do you mean by inspiration?
Inspiration. Well, as you're walking, you're kind of in your. I guess you've had some conversation, but are you still kind of in your kind of world kind of thing, or y'all how is that kind of going?
I think I'm pretty much done. I pretty much said like I'm gonna drop the issue.
Mm-hmm.
And she's acknowledged that. I would say that they've had a back and forth about what happened previously, and she acknowledges the final statement, which he said, and she glanced because when I imagine this, she's in front, like because she's kind of keeping the distance from him. So she kind of glances over her shoulder, and she kind of stops, glances over her shoulder, kind of stares at him for a moment, gives a nod, and says, "Thank you."
Anytime.
So, did you want to verbalize that statement to kind of end that kind of, or did you want to? You had it in. Is that a conversation that y'all had, or are we privy to that?
We could read the whole thing.
Well, if nothing else, the last statement.
Yeah, so I can sum up. I mean, the other characters would know it is a private conversation, but
Okay.
just for the players, just to sum up, I'm basically trying to convince Ash to have us all get back together and just talk about what happened. Me and Ash are pretty much on the same page of Kellum shouldn't have acted without consulting the group, and Ash seems to be upset about the attack, obviously, and I'm more of like it seemed like Kellum was desperate when Ash was coming up with the device.
Mm-hmm.
So he was kind of acting out of desperation, and Ash seems to be like, good for him, take the attack. And correct me if I'm wrong.
No, it's like, basically he's like he did this out of desperation, and Ash's thoughts and what she says is his desperation nearly got him killed. And what she's meaning by that, she doesn't say this, but what she's meaning is that she felt the power that she was about to conjure. She knew she was about to cross a line, and it was only because of Necra that she stopped herself. And this is her mind focus. It's like that is the reason that she was about to cross the line, because she was attacked. She went defensive, and she felt that, and therefore, like, his desperation, his hubris is what almost got him killed, because she was going to kill him. And again, it was because of Necra is that she was able to pull back from jumping over that cliff.
And so was that verbalized, or that's just kind of like air, basically how she's feeling?
But that's how she's feeling, and so the statement of saying his desperation almost got him killed, and she says that matter-of-factly, like when she looks at Banthor and says, "It almost got him killed," she's basically giving him the look like, "I would have killed him."
Yeah, I got it now. All right. And so pretty much after that, y'all just keep walking and keep to yourselves for the most part.
Yeah, she's in her mind. Again, she does say thank you, like when he says, like, "I will side with you if it comes down to it, like. But she's basically thank you, and then goes back into her own thoughts.
So you know that you have a good day's travel before you can get to the grove. It will be late at night, or possibly you could camp or be in the next early morning. As you're walking along, something reminds you. It's kind of like like a little mosquito almost. As you're being in yourself, that there's this kind of a weight in your cloak or your vestments, or whatever you're wearing there, your gown, your flowing whatever, satchel, or even, and you're reminded that you have this diary that you've only kind of cracked open recently, and you subconsciously kind of put your hand on it to feel the binding, and you feel that the leather binding that is here is not leather, and such, and you're like a little confused, maybe. Would you pull it out to look at it, or just kind of like just put your hand on it to try to feel more of why this leather-bound book does it feel like a leather-bound book?
I guess while they're walking and she's in her thoughts, like, again, subconsciously, your hand, like, kind of slides to where the book is, and she kind of feels it, and she just, like, without realizing, pulls it out.
Okay. Would you like to investigation or perception?
Investigation. It's probably like that.
I would like to help.
Okay. She, doesn't pull it out surreptitiously, so you can roll perception, or since you're not touching it, hold on. Roll Arcana or perception.
I think once she once she realizes she's holding the book too and starts to look at it and like focus in on it. Let me roll this first. Oh. She rolls an 8, and she's trying to look at it, and without her knowing, her eyes start to kind of glow again, and she's going to cast guidance on herself.
Now, did you roll with advantage?
I was going to have you roll either Arcana or Perception, Banthor, as that help, basically.
Should I go ahead and do that now?
Mm-hmm. Sure. You could choose either one. You could choose Perception or Arcana.
How do I change my die?
Come again?
How do I change my die? I need to retire this.
I know, right?
I for real, I need to change mine for these digital dice ain't doing it.
Callum over here is rolling, an average of 19, and y'all boys are rolling an average of 9.
Yeah, guys, I got some of that dice. Just this alley over here when the GM's not looking. Yeah, I got you.
Need to find some dice that match Usher. That's what it is.
Some glowing white dice or something. Or some, every time you roll them, they're a different,
Different
It-
colors.
we'll see. I got a couple of different sets that I don't usually bother with the whole digital dice changing them out, but I might have to for this one.
Just because something's not clicking.
It's not good.
So basically, both of you look at this, and subconsciously, Ashura, and just because Ashura is doing something different instead of just moping along. I'm not saying you're moping, but you know what I'm saying. Brooding along, shall we say? There we go. Brooding along. Vanthor, you get a quick look, but you're like, it pretty much just looks like a leather-bound, book that she has. Well, as you touch it, it's on the tip of your tongue, but you're like, just feels weird, and such. So, I have been a little mosquito in your ear, and attract you to that. With us, it is 10 o'clock, so I'm going to snake over to Necra for a little bit. Necra, you have dropped off some notes to your companions, and you've gone a little bit farther towards the grove than them, and have you quickly, out of desperation and rage, almost, after you've gotten some distance from your companions, you grab the warhammer, throw the hard drive on the ground, and smash it until you can't smash it anymore. You pick it up and you're like, damn it! It didn't do anything. This thing is useless. So you double back and drop off the warhammer and a note to Kellum, and start making your way back towards the grove. Max has a small conversation with you, and she says that she knows some dwarves that might be able to handle that, or some old friends that we can run into. You seem like you're got a mission. Are you okay? Boy, you're hell. Slow down. I don't like to fly this fast. Where are you at, Necra?
Basically, after dropping that stuff off,
Okay.
basically we're like, okay, well, if I can't smash it, and if we really can't trust anybody,
Well, you don't have that. That's hold on. That was an out of character response to your note, correct?
no, this was during the stabbing the construct.
Oh, you're just saying you don't know if you can trust it. Got it.
No, there's like, can't trust ourselves, can't trust each other to have this power, da 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 da. That was actually said during the stabbing of the construct. So, I'm like, alright, since I can't smash it, I can't really trust anybody with this thing, I'm gonna wait till we camp, and then when Maxie goes to sleep, I'm gonna stash it someplace.
Okay. Is it going to be a place that you are going to try to remember, or you're just like you just run for a moment, find some place, and throw it down a hole or off a cliff, in a hollow?
I basically try to find a hole, or like, if
Okay.
there's something along the lines
Give
of
me
it.
a survival. Give me a survival roll, and you're looking for a hole to put it in, and we'll see how good we go from there.
Well, or quicksand if that's an option, but
Okay, 15. So, you run for about 2 hours, just out of frustration from the whole situation. You're like, okay, I'm done with this. And you run, and after a moment of just doing that, one day I just started running. You stop yourself, catch your breath, and look around. And you've taken yourself out of the forest area and into a grassy kind of plain section. And you see a few ponies that are out here and some deer far off. And then you can see that there are kind of like gashes. I forgot what the word is for this. Crags, like where the earth is moved, from one side to the other, and there's a deep, basically a pit, cut in and such. And there's a bunch of these where the soil is kind of either moved down or been cracked away from this kind of hill. So you have a choice of different holes to throw this into. You look in, and they all seem to be fairly deep. Some are deeper than others, and you can't tell. You assume that these are becoming wider as time goes on. That they're not filling in or anything like that. That the earth is separating. And
so out of character, this is turning into what could be a volcanic location.
Roll survival. Well, out of character.
Yeah.
It could do something like that, but let's just say that there's a separation here. One side is moving a little bit to that side, one's going to there. It could end up something like that in the future. But yes, there's just basically a separation.
Okay.
And it looks like stretch marks, here, and there is some 10 to 20 of these, gashes that are, stretch marks, like I said, that are separating. Some larger than others and such like that. You could either find the deepest hole, or you could turn your back and just do a granny throw and just toss this hard drive and see if it lands in some random crevice that you don't see. You could pick the biggest one, or you could pick a random one.
Okay, since I do want to kind of bury it, I'm gonna find the deepest, narrowest one I can find.
Okay. Give me a survival just to see how well.
Okay.
Or nature. Or an investigation. Sorry. Too many choices. 17, so that's a good number. Alright. So you find one that you feel is relatively deep, and has some loose soil around it, so you can tell that it is filling in a little bit as it does separate.
And yeah, just try to cover it so it can't be found, and then try to disguise that it's actually there. If
Okay.
I can do that.
Sure. Sleight of hand.
Okay.
Kind of healthy, thought. It's the 5. Okay. You're pretty good at covering up your tracks. And it looks, you got it nice and level where everything else, it doesn't look like it's a hump or anything like that. And all the ground here looks like the same color. So you step back and look at it, and you're like, well, if I didn't know it was right there, I wouldn't know it's right there.
And yeah, so as soon as that's done, I'm just gonna walk away.
Okay.
Back
So
to
it takes you, basically about 6 or so hours to, let's see, 2, 4, 5 hours. There we go. It takes you 5 hours to get there, bury it, and go back. Max hasn't quite roused herself from her deep sleep. It doesn't look like she's moved much or anything like that. You sneak back into camp, and would you do your 4 hours of meditation, or would
Yeah.
you stay up? Okay, all right.
Yeah, I'll do the trance.
So you do your trance, and during your trance, things are flooding, back into your memories, and it's kind of like a dream state, a hurried dream state almost. And you do remember that that there was some kind of product that y'all were making at this facility, and that you were receiving materials and goods, food and some other resources to keep the factory going that way. It didn't seem like there was a lot of that produced there at the factory, so they depended on an outside source. And there was some kind of production that went on that produced these little blue what do you call a D20? A hack deck? The kind of multifaceted blue stone.
Polyhedron?
There we go. Yeah, something like that. And that they ship these out by the like a crate of 100. It took maybe 3 months or so to produce. It's a very arduous task that has many processes, and you were just starting to learn these processes when you remember that you were part of the reason that this all went to hell, like the place exploded. You were not the hand that was supposed to do this, but you were the hand that did this. There was a revolt happening, and shall we say, the cycle ahead of you, they had decided to revolt and had set these stones throughout the complex, and we're going to destroy the temple and flee. But somehow their plot was found out, and everybody was rounded up except for you, who hadn't been taught anything yet because, well, you were a Q. You're on the end of the list, so you weren't a priority. And you were able to hide away while everybody else was rounded up. And being young, you didn't know exactly what to do, but you knew that something should be done. So you started the explosion that started the chain reaction that blew the temple to hell. And you ran because that's the only thing you could do. Because you knew, or you figured out, the place was going to blow. You tried in desperation to save any of your fellow brood members, but you were unable to, and they told you to run, and you did. And you remember as you wake up, looking back over your shoulder as the blue fire escaped the temple factorium.
Okay.
Max comes up to you and sees that you've got a cold sweat on you and says, "Wow, you really meditate hard." Looks like it hurts almost.
Yeah, bad memories. And start packing up.
Well, what do you want to do? You want to go back home? I know people are probably wondering where we're at. They never wonder where I'm at.
If you hadn't have set it up so they are kind of relieved you're gone. But, yeah, let's head back to town, see what's up.
So do you want to tell me what you found in there, or are you just going to keep it all a secret?
Nothing anyone even there needs to know about.
Ooh, those are the best kinds of secrets.
Just one of those things that better off kept buried and lost.
Okay. I mean, if you really want to get rid of it, I know I could sell it to somebody.
Get rid of what?
Oh. Okay. Sure. Right. Well,
When I ask that, I open up the bag, and there's nothing. It's not there. Like,
okay.
Get rid of what?
Oh, I see. Well, let's go home then. And okay. Are we gonna wait for anybody, or we just going back home by ourselves?
Well, Bantler should be able to lead Ashra home back to town, and Kellum's been around longer than I have, and lives out in this, so should be able to find his way home readily enough.
Okie dokie. Well, catch up if you can, or catch me if you can. And she'll flirt off towards the grove.
Right. And so set basically hard march.
Okay. As the night comes upon the grove, you enter into the hunting area, the protected zone, shall we say, the outside of the grove, not the village per se, itself. And and you step across the threshold, shall we say, into the grove, the territory of the tree. And in the distance, you hear the yap of the white fox as it greets you as you come into the grove. You don't see the fox, but you hear it. Not in one place, but in multiple different places. It starts off over here and then bounces and is over there. And as you move further in, it's behind you. And then, comes kind of close to you up front, but you still don't see the white fox. Max is, that trickster's out tonight. Well, I would say I'd fly up and get out of its range, but I've seen it up in the trees before. Have you seen it climb a tree?
Climb? No. Up a tree? Yes.
There you go. Good. You never do. All right. Yeah. Anyhow.
Granted, I seem to recall that seeing it half the time is you're not really seeing it, so yeah.
Creeps me out. He follows me sometimes.
Follows everybody.
Oh yeah? Does it follow you sometimes?
There are several times that I believe I've told you about a number of times about I'm in the middle of a hunt, everything's going wonderful, and I have it just appear on my head or nose to nose with me. So, yes.
Well, I guess that makes me feel a little bit better that it's not just following me, but well, I'd never let it get that close. Anyhow. And it just kind of, keeps around, but doesn't show itself. And it just yaps every once in a while after it knows that you know that it's there, kind of thing. And just follows you to wherever you seem to be headed off to. But it only gives you a audio, like a verbal retort. You don't ever lay eyes on.
Okay. So when I get to the edge of the village, anything happening?
So it's nightfall, and most of the villages, for the most part, has gone to not to sleep or to gone home to do their personal things. It can be a insight check.
Okay.
Okay. As you look around, from the edge of the village, you can't see too much. It's a large, not large, but it's spread out. There we go. And from where you're at, you could tell that there's a shift in attitude. There seems to be a few more guards about. Like some of the hunters are not just gathered, but they're on patrol.
Okay. Alright. Don't really want to deal with them much, so try and skirt around the village.
Okay. And you hit it.
Basically to my little treehouse. And
Okay. All right. So easily, move away from the village and skirt around and get to your treehouse. This place like the back of your hand, this area. And you get there, and it doesn't seem like anything's really been messed with or anything like that. What are you gonna do?
well, basically do housekeeping for a little bit, rest, and wait.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna come back to you. Banthor and Asherah, do y'all have anything that y'all want to talk about? And we get about a half an hour of gameplay.
How far have we made it?
So you're, a good quarter, half of the day. So you got another half a day before you start to get, closer to the grove. You suspect.
Okay. Are we going to be able to make it, or are we going to have to stop and camp again?
A comfortable walk would be to stop and camp again. You could press yourself and get there, kind of late in the evening.
We get there quicker if I was able to turn into like a bear and have Ash.
You could do that and go at a good pace because assuming the bear's got a decent constitution and athletics and such.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna roll a dice to see what she said. Okay. All right, that's evens. Yeah, no, they'll go as far as they can and then stop to camp again. And during the camp, I want to study the book.
Okay. So the diary or the iPad?
The diary.
Okay. So y'all set up camp, and after a while, Asherah pulls out this book again, and Banthor, you can tell that the book is the binding, that this leather bound is actually made of a thick leaf that has been cut to look like leather and to feel like leather, but it hasn't dried out. It is still fresh like a leaf, and such, but it's been worked, it looks like, to, carved out to kind of look like leather and give it that rough feel almost. So it's been worked, basically, like almost like a leather work or something, and you're not sure what kind of leaf this is, but you know that the leaf itself has to be huge for it to be, this section to be cut off of it. Such. So, and Asherah, you begin to read it and try to decipher the language code that is that it's been written in, and such. You've been able to decipher some of it. It's not so much a different language as it's almost like a thief's cant, and utilizing different phrases and old terms and things like that kind of describe areas and his thinking and things like that. And it's also a broken diary. It doesn't follow so much a chronological order, and it's kind of like meandering thoughts that bleed into each other. So as you're reading one paragraph, there might be two sentences in there that don't even belong, and that just reference weird things, like they were written out of time or out of place. So reading it at times can be confusing to get through it and muddle through it. So that it's not a direct read. So.
Right.
Go ahead.
And I think, like, when they set up camp and she cracks the book open this time, she's studying more now to, like, focus on something different, to get her mind off the situation as they draw closer to the grove. So yeah, she's just kind of burying herself into this now.
So you read through for a while and try to figure out what this guy's muttering about, and there's one sentence that is out of place. And this sentence in particular talks about how he's kind of proud of himself that he convinced the dwarves to build a road and such. So he feels like he's the architect of a great society, and can't wait to see its fruition in the future. And it's kind of spread out through a couple different pages, but you're like, okay, he's just talking about dinner over here and catching game, and then he's muddling about being okay, and stuff like that. So
Ash, do you mind if I look over that book with you?
She's like looking down into it, reading. She like pulls out her book and she starts to write into it because she's like writing down some of the phrases, trying to put it together.
Yeah.
And she looks up, like, it's almost like you forget someone's there with you, and you look up and you're like, oh,
The
that's right.
owlish look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, she kind of like mulls it over in her mind for a second, like, she's like, lets out a sigh. If you wish.
I just looked through it for a moment.
So do you hand the book over, or do you kind of like make room for Banthor to sit next to you?
It's actually more of like she's not going to hand the book over, so it's more like he has to come over to her and sit next to her.
You got it. Okay. So you scoot over a little bit and make room on the log that you're sitting on, and kind of nod, and Banthor comes and sits down, and you kind of hold the book out and maybe describe how you see here you've been talking about catching the squirrel and eating it, but in these 3 pages he's also talking about how you got the dwarfs to make the road.
It's like, this is weird. It's a lot of rambling, but if this is right, he's had something to do with the creation of that pathway.
The one the dwarves made?
Yes. And with that dwarven writing on it. And think she pulls. She remembers she has the rubbing she made and pulls
Yeah.
that out.
So all of the stones that y'all walked on were identical. They all had the same writing on those. And as Ashra pulls it out, not just the memory of it, but the actual looking at it, you can see the difference in the writing now, and you can make out the prayer that the dwarfs sent out to Sylvanas, the god Sylvanas and such. Banthor.
See it. It's. Sorry. I can see these runes move and take shape. I believe it's my connection to the tree. It appears to be a prayer to Sylvanas to bless the road, and almost an apology that they had to defile part of the forest to make this happen. Something happened to me last night as I was meditating. I saw the tree and it spoke with me, and I believe it gave me this power to read this writing, and it mentioned a book that I should help you decipher, and it showed me a vision of that road. So I do find it not exactly coincidental, but there's a link here between the book and this road and the tree.
In your inner ear, Ashra, you hear zzz, zzz of the mosquito from the DM.
Yeah.
I know you can.
No, it's fine. I like it actually.
Just having fun.
Good. No, it's good actually. Keep it up. But she's kind of molding that over, and apparently there's a connection between you and I with all of this. Apparently, this book was the reason that I came here in the first place.
As you look at the book, Banthor, you can see a few of the letters move around, like you were looking at the runes from the dwarf, and it reads on one page E, another page G, and then on another page G, and then it goes E and G and G, and it does that for a while. You kind of keep flipping, and then it stops. And such, and then it might start looking like something else. But for a few pages, it just says egg over and over, kind of surreptitiously written in the background.
So I don't know if I'm just hungry or not, but
That was good. You get a point of inspiration for that one. That was awesome.
I'm just getting egg over and over.
Egg? And she's kind of looking through the pages he's flipping through.
Yeah. It does talk about, cooking some squirrel with eggs that he found, and he does mention a particular egg in particular that he's going to keep for later on.
This is where she picks up her book and notes it down. There's a whole new page with it says Banthor sees at the top. It just writes egg multiple times. And then writes on another page where, okay, this is what he's talking about, cooking eggs, and then a special egg.
Right.
And then this is strange, but it's connected to the road and the dwarves. So it's a lead. At least.
When you Banther will, say that through these 6 pages or so, it just keeps going egg, egg, egg. And then over here, it starts doing something else and such. It's talking about, and it's hard to read. It keeps moving. You see Banthor, that the words are there, but they're trying to be hidden.
They're trying to hide.
Yes, the message that this background message is there, and it like right before it kind of pops into your eyes, Banthor, makes sense. It shuffles in and tries to hide.
Can't make sense of it. Like trying to remember a dream. It's so close, and then it leaves me. It shifts. All I'm getting is egg.
So these particular pages that he's looking at, I'll interject a little bit. Talking about something different. He's talking about moving off the path after he's found the grove. So it's like it jumps. You feel like there might have been something in between, but we're now on a totally different story. And so these, this is a group of pages you could tell are, correlate, okay, wait a second, his handwriting is just a little bit different, but it's, you can tell that these groups of pages are a story almost together. So you'd have to kind of read through it and start, deciphering, over the broad sense is that he's found the grove, but only after getting off the path, and he and such. And it was a long, twisty, trek through the woods to get to the grove and things like this. So he's, it's it's going to take a few, a little bit of time to go through and read the story as it's written, and then try to start, read between the lines and stuff like that. Right. But it's talking about how he had to go through a special path to find the grove. Off of the dwarf, he left the dwarven road and followed a special path to find the grove.
All right.
For y'all, you could just find the grove per se. Now, Ashra, it was a little bit different story for you. You found the grove coming through coming through the Feywild as such, and you were led to the beacon of the grove, basically through the Feywild, and such. So that's how you found the grove. But so this other outsiders found the grove through going through a special path of some sort.
Right. Like he found his own path to the grove.
Right.
And she's kind of coordinating that with her own way of how she found her way to the grove. And so she's making notes in her book about this, noting the different pages that he says he sees egg on and such, and she's noting where it's jumping, where it seems like there's something missing here from this page to this page. She's noting this down, and you see she just really kind of gets Banthor would notice that she's really getting into it as she's writing this stuff down, she's getting lost in it. Oh, this. Before she takes a moment, she looks and she's like, this is going to take more than a night to figure out. I do appreciate your help, though. Not just for this, she taps the book. I appreciate you sticking by my side through this whole ordeal.
It's important to stick together. And I kind of just look away.
I know. don't know what's going to happen once we all get back together. I cannot promise that things will smooth out like you want. But I will take your words to heart. And she just kind of leaves it at that.
All I ask is that you do and you give it an honest try.
We'll see how the strings of fate tug at us all.
Indeed. On a separate note, after seeing eggs so many times, I am legitimately hungry. Would you like
Yes. Let's pull out
a ration? I have 8 rations. You're welcome to one if you'd like.
Well, we do still have some of that snake meat. If we want to heat some of that up on the fire.
Oh, I'm more than happy to eat some of that. I'll hold off on the rations.
Yeah. I think she'll pull out some of the meat that they kind of, pre-cooked and,
Okay.
find some sticks or something to kind of, skewer them and cook them over the fire.
Gotta heat them up and such, yeah.
Mhm.
Gotcha. Alright. So, let's see. Let me think real quick. Banthor, right as she kind of starts to close the book and starts to, prepare the food, the words, did you tell, excuse me, I'm assuming, Ashra, that you would have told Banthor a little bit of what you read, and such there.
Yeah, some of it. It's more that she'd been talking out loud when she kind of got lost in it.
Okay.
She was more of talking out loud, not talking like directly to
And
him.
then also writing notes, so they're there
Yeah.
too. Okay, good. All right. Basically, right as she's starting to, close up and anything like that, put all that things together, you see the words coalesce, and it says, "The egg is my guide." And with that, we're going to go to Kellum. We have like 10 minutes left before 11 o'clock. I don't know if y'all need to shoot off to any particular directions IRL. Kellum, do you want to talk a little bit longer about your wolf companion here? I mean, this old man?
I'll feed him eggs.
New eggs. That's awesome.
That's neat.
So,
do we get back to camp?
he begrudgingly follows you. Leads, follows. You to camp, and your fire has not gone cold, but is at embers now. It's not a rager. And such, but it wouldn't take long. You definitely have a hot coals and things like that. It wouldn't take long to get the fire stoked and such. Again,
Right.
There's remnants around the outside that you can push in and start that, of course. But go for it.
Well, first off, I'll pull out one of my rations
Okay.
to give to the wolf.
So you put the ration down, and he looks at it and looks back up at you, and kind of growls and eats at the same time. So he is eating the food because he's starving, but he's you can tell he's not happy, per se with eating rations.
Right.
But he isn't, outside of his growl, he isn't verbally, bad mouthing it or anything like that. Yeah. After a couple gulps and growls, he looks back up at you.
Oh, it doesn't say anything. It just looks at me. Okay.
Yeah, well, I heard somebody typing, and I didn't know if it was. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, he looks back at you and he goes, "Is that all?"
I'll give him another ration pack, and I'll say, eat this, get your strength back. Let's get you your wounds mended, and then we'll go hunt for some proper meat.
He looks up at you as you say, "Hunt." Okay. He begrudgingly just says, "Okay."
All right.
So go ahead.
As he's doing that, I'm going to be working on the fire a little bit. I'm going to move like some of the burning coals off to the side slightly. I'm going to take the ground where it's already been burnt at, and there's like the ground has got the telltale sign of a fire has been here. I'm going to dig that up and put that soil off to the side so I can use it again. Then I'm going to dig deeper, and I'm going to take anything that didn't completely melt, even if it's like fused together and unusable, unrecognizable. I'm going to take that and put it in there, bury it back, put the burnt ground back on top of it, and then move all the coals and everything back over on top where I dug, put more wood on, and just keep on burning it so it looks like it's try and make it return to the most natural looking. A fire was here, doesn't look like it was dug up at all.
Gotcha.
And any dirt that doesn't fit back in, I will put into a bag and carry it far away from here so it doesn't look like anything's been dug here.
Gotcha. Now, you're able to, flatten it out enough and such that it doesn't look, obvious. And you're going to have a pile of ash on top of it, from all the wood and such. So he sniffs about of it and, kind of growls and says, "I don't like that. See why you're burning it. Smells."
Yes.
And he'll, make sure that he's far enough away after that he's not in any kind of smoke or, anything like that.
Yeah. I will, I'll agree with him that, it smells. Just, real quick, are you, I found the stats for the Winter Wolf. Is that what you're basing them off of?
That is it's going to be a weaker version, but yes.
Okay.
Because it'll be older, and we'll look at it and we'll go from there.
Yeah. So is it going to be on the same description as far as it can follow basic conversations so you don't get too complex with it, or is it more smart?
Correct. It seems to be, because of his age, a little more intelligent. But also because of his age, he is a little bit more frail.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. Then I'll explain to him in a. Kellen's not going to understand it as far as like what the actual things were either necessarily, but in the terminology that Kallan's been using, construct, etc. Kellen. He will explain that to the wolf, and the reasons why he's burning everything and why the smell doesn't bother him, because it's in this situation, it's a smell of a victory, because we've destroyed the thing that was trying to destroy the land. And then he'll take he'll try to get the wolf's name, if that's possible. Do you have a name?
I do, and I was just looking for it because I sensed it was coming for some reason. I'm like, he's about to ask the name. Where is it? And I have it in my downloads. So if I'm no, that's mail. Take it. Wrong button. No, go away. I don't want you.
Button. Where's the button?
Button. That button, which was right next to. Don't kill me. His name is Kiwi.
Is what?
Kiwi.
Kiwi. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta write that down.
Right.
His name is Kaywee.
That sounds good.
Okay. Kiwi. All right.
I just wrote it down as a K and a WEEE. So it's K-Wee.
Oh. Okay.
So.
All right. And then whenever I'll try to mend his wounds, or are they something I can actually bandage, or is it just like let it heal?
Like it. Yeah, it's nothing that is, no physical wounds have been, he's fatigued, very fatigued, basically. He's got exhaustion, excuse me. So he's probably, on a 3 or higher level of exhaustion right now.
Okay.
So, and old age has, made it hard for him to recover from that. And he's also malnourished and such. So, what you're dealing, you're dealing with just long-term physical trauma. Magical healing would help. A lot of rest and food are basically going to be, what he's going to need.
All right. Then if a health
or
potion,
or larger healing, could take away his conditions and stuff like that. But I don't think that you have the capacity for such. But anyhow, go ahead.
would a potion of healing help him?
Definitely would set him on the right track. Would bring back his health points that he can recover.
Okay. And I'll give him one of my potions of healing.
Okay. All right.
I'll ask him, do you want to go hunt now or after you have rested?
I don't know what this food will do to my stomach, but I think hunting now would be good.
Very well. I will. I'll gear up light. We'll still set this as our camp to return to, and I'll take basically the same gear I took to go find him, and we'll set out to find some small game. I can at the very least use my bow to wound it so he can catch up to it. I won't tell him that though.
All right, I gotcha. So it's 11:01. How do y'all want to handle going forward? And I guess the people of the that would be you, Kellum, and Banthor are the most time sensitive. I'll let y'all speak first.
Let me check.
Sure. I'm gonna go get another cup of water. I'll be right back.
All right.
Yeah.
I wonder when I get to add it to my pets.
I do believe you can just do that now, but
Well, I'll have to work with the GM still on because it's not going to be the exact stats of Winter Wolf. It's going to be a little bit weaker.
but once you have the thing on the thing, you cannot. There's a
Oh, so I'd have to add it first and then we can edit it.
yes.
Yeah,
There's top of the thing below where it says the name of the creature, basic, whatever the rule set. It has the customized thing. That's where you would go to change any names, any stat changes, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have them on the character sheet already?
I don't have them on there yet because now my question is, do I add him as a mount or a beast companion? 'Cause I went Cavalier.
Right.
And I did look up. Player was curious. I did look up. Is he big enough? He is,
Yes,
technically.
he is. Yeah. Excuse me.
But of
Sorry
course,
about that. Didn't mean to cough over everybody's ear.
And
Sorry
5
about
for
that.
trees.
it's your call which category he gets added as.
Well, currently he would be a companion.
All right. He's a companion.
He would probably bite you if you tried to mount him.
Well, I would of course talk this through with him before.
Oh, you'd get consent. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Dun-dun-dun. There's old Jeremy. All right.
His name in there.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I'll be here all week. Yeah, it's not too terribly different from the Timberwolf in a way. Ah, there we go.
So,
And then customize type, alignment, armor class, max hit points. Right, that's all that would be customized. I don't know if I can't really change the attributes. I don't think.
I'm going to continue just wide open whenever.
Okay.
I'm also clear to continue since,
Daylight saving time?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
I got another hour.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll go in, over the between this session and next, and clean what I can up on that. I don't know if I could change the attributes.
Yeah, I didn't see any attribute changes.
Yeah.
So,
So,
alignment, armor
you know.
class, max HP.
yeah. What I might do is make him in either if I can, either another creature in Beyond, or I will make them in Roll20.
Okay.
So either way, we'll have a character for it in particular. So, but using this as the base and such, so it's not going to have as many hit points, and armor class is going to be lower because of its age. The strength and dexterity will go down a little bit, and the constitution will go down a good bit. The intelligence will increase some, probably 2 points. So he'll to take off the -2 and just be -1. And I may lower his charisma even more.
Yeah, I was gonna say that charisma can go down.
And such. And we may, I'll probably raise the wisdom a little bit. So his physicals will go down. His charisma is going to be a little bit lower, but his intelligence and wisdom will go up. And such. So, to recharge his cold breath will be a 6 instead of a 5/6.
All right, I'm gonna have to read up on that part. I didn't read all the way through his cold breath yet.
Yeah. And it might be a little weaker than what it says here. It's a 2d6. Might make it a 2d4. With a DC, oh no, sorry, that's a different thing. What is it? Oh, it says 48. Yeah, so, yeah, we're definitely going to have to make that smaller. and maybe make the DC, or we'll just make the DC easier. That way, a lot of things are taking half damage. So,
Yeah.
And then instead of recharging on a 5/6, make it recharge on a 6. He's old. Everything doesn't work the way it used to.
Oh,
That being
That's the truth.
yeah. Quick question. I'm seeing it's saying taking 18 and then in parentheses it's got 4d8.
yeah, so
What's the 18 for?
that's
That's kind of
The
an average.
It's the average of the dice.
Okay.
So you could either roll the dice or take that average
Take the
damage.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
yeah, pretty much all monsters are like that.
Yeah.
They have where you can roll the dice or just take the average. Which, could be a good or a bad thing, 77 damage from a breath weapon from a dragon, or I could roll the dice and we can get 100. So it all,
Yeah, they do the average because it's usually a little more expedient during combat. It's in having to roll it.
Yeah. Okay.
So y'all go hunting. You take your time finding some small game and taking the time to wound instead of outright kill. So maybe instead of using your hunting arrows, you're using like target arrows and such. That have a smaller head to them. A hunting arrow would have a much larger head, so that does more damage and things like that. So, but with a few practice arrows that you got, you're just gonna put a hole in it and allow the old man to get a chomp in there.
I'm changing his name to Old Man. That's the second time you called him that. That's his name now.
Old man. All right. So Kiwi could have Kiwi, excuse me, not Kiwi. Kiwi could have been his name that he's had for a while. So getting a different name might be something. Old man. Just keep calling him old man. When you run into people, and this is old man. He'll just look up at you and growl. So y'all hunt for a while, and let's see. Give me a second. Okay. He after hunting down a few rabbits, or maybe even something a little bit larger, he eats his full and says that you need some practice with that bow, don't you think? You barely hit the target.
Well, is there something nearby I could shoot at?
Oh, yeah, I mean, you can shoot a tree or a log or a pine cone for that matter.
I'll pick out a pine cone.
All right.
Dead center. I'll take a regular arrow instead of one of the practice ones.
Gotcha. Just with advantage, give me a shot there. See if you hit this pine cone with the longbow.
10.
Okay. 10. Luckily,
too
so
long
you
in
get-
between my rolls.
no, right. So, right. So it hits like right next to the pine cone, and enough of it pushes the pine cone over, so it kind of looks like you hit it, but you didn't actually hit it. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
but pine cone's a small thing. So, see, just a little bit better, and you might be able to take down the game by yourself. Should always try to kill instantly. Go for the throat.
And deprive you of the hunt?
Whippersnapper, I've lived longer and hunted more than you've been alive.
All right.
In this conversation, we'll keep going back and forth. He's always kind of, saying what he's, how much he's accomplished in his time, and things like that. And he'll compare himself, and his deeds to you, and things like that. And how you one day you'll grow into a fine young warrior, but now you just need more practice.
Okay.
And such. So get good. but he doesn't use those words. But
Next time we go hunting together, I will not just wound. I will just I'll deprive him of the hunt. It'll be dead by the time he gets to it.
all right. After eating and getting back to the camp, you tend to the fire some more and turn around, and he is out cold. He's just snoring, basically.
All right. I will make sure that the perimeter wire is reset, and then I will begin my half-aware meditation for 4 hours. And once 4 hours is up, I will stand watch until he wakes.
Okay. So, you do your 4 hours. He's still asleep. You get some more wood. Do a little perimeter. He's still asleep. He just lays and sleeps there for the better part of a day, if you allow him.
Yeah.
Okay. And when he wakes up, you can see that he's not, exhaling with every move. It doesn't hurt to move around. He stretches and, he doesn't wince or anything. You can see that he's basically slept off most of his exhaustion. He might have a little bit left, but he slept the day and was able to, get back to at least some semblance of a good fighting form.
All right.
He looks at you and begrudgingly nods in your direction, like, okay, I'm still alive. He didn't kill me. Still got my coat. All right. Okay. All right. And then, what is your name? He didn't ask for your name the other day.
Yeah. No.
He is now asking for your name.
I am Kellum Pilar, the last of my clan.
I am known as Kiwi. Excuse me. Kiwi. I don't know why I keep calling Kiwi.
Are you hungry?
I know, right? For some fruit. Kiwi. I was once my alpha's hunter, but age has taken me, and I have been pushed from my pack.
Well, we are two of a kind then. Without our original packs or clans. Perhaps it's time we forged a new one.
Where do you den? Where's your hunting? Okay, go ahead.
Wherever I please, really. Though I usually stay near a grove, not too far from here. I have some friends there.
Yes. Excuse me. I have heard of Grove. The Alpha speaks of it.
I imagine you've been told to stay away from it.
Alpha says if we get hungry enough, we can eat elves and other frail creatures.
I'm afraid your alpha would...
He kind of looks at you with a little bit of a predatory eye for a moment.
I'm afraid your alpha would find that not all that live in the grove are that frail. And perhaps even you would find that some of nature itself would fight alongside those elves, or the elven kind.
He's been warned as such. Those little green lizards, they chat too much.
Indeed they do. But just so we are not keeping any secrets, I have, in recent days, right? Has it been days or weeks at this point since we got the powers from the tree? I want to get the
It's been
timelines
about
right.
a week.
About a week? Okay.
Yeah.
So
Just
I guess
over a week,
days,
yeah.
days works then. In recent days, I have become a warden of the tree in the grove. And I'll show him the band that I have and spark a simple, not a full powered version, but a simple version of Eldritch Blast
Okay.
to show him that I am working on behalf of the tree. And I'll explain that to him as best I can and tell him about the Timberwolf as well.
Okay. So that is your plan with me. I knew you had an alternative motive when you talk about the Timberwolf. And he
No, I won't tell him
jumps
about
back.
how. No. I'll tell him that we
So
have.
you just tell them you have a Timberwolf. Okay, all right.
Yes,
all right,
the tree has created this. I won't tell him how it created it.
all right. Okay. Sorry, I was trying to wrap you up, but
I've got animal handling. I know where to stop.
okay. Yeah, you are, shall we say, tagged, proficient in animal
Yes, I am.
handling. So, so this tree has a wolf of its own?
It does. And it appears to be made of vines and branches. We call it a timber wolf because it is made of timber, essentially.
That's, And you see him, like the wheels turning, he's more intelligent than his pack mates, but he's also not so intelligent. So he's kind of trying to contemplate and fathom this and bring it into his worldview.
I'd be happy to bring you to the village. You have my word that no one will harm you. You'll be under my protection there.
And this is... I would like to see this, but I am concerned.
What concerns you?
I appreciate you not killing me and taking my skin in the middle of my sleep, but I am still leery of your intentions.
My intentions are to befriend
He
you.
wouldn't have
and
used
have you-
intentions, excuse me, motives, or
Motives.
yeah.
Yeah.
Too many. That's too big of a word. Sorry. I'm like, wait a second. He wouldn't have said intentions. My apologies. Maybe he says, I'm concerned about what path you are leading and what end it might have for me.
The only end I have in store for you is to offer my friendship. It is your choice. I do feel that perhaps the tree has brought us together as I've been meditating on and looking for a strong animal companion that can fight by my side. And the tree led me to you.
He walks around you a little bit and sniffs you. You still smell like that fire.
There's a good stream not far from here that we can go to that's where the water does not run as fast.
You don't smell like you're lying to me. Let's get this smoke off of you, and we will talk more. Maybe in time, we can look at your grove and see if you speak of this Timberwolf in earnest, if you were being honest with me. So y'all are going to do that, and we're going to go back to Nectar real quick. Yeah. What's up?
Basically waiting till people show up in town.
Okay. Are you going to hang out at your place and wait for people to come to you, or are you going to go into town and...
Aside from a quick trip to drop off the herbs for potion making, pretty much stick around to my place.
Okay. So you drop them off in the tree or somewhere else, or...
In the tree.
Okay. So you get to the tree, surreptitiously, hiding here and there and waiting your moment to enter without being noticed. Like I said, there's more of a watch, a guard, shall we say, walking around where before there hadn't been. He's been gone like 8 or 9 days. I forgot exactly. I'll look at it again. You definitely could tell that there's a different air about the place. You get to the tree and drop off the herbs, and let me see if this... Let's see. Okay. As you are making your way down the steps into the main room of the tree, Sarabella comes in and sees you and looks around for the the rest of the group, and notices only you, and maybe kind of like looks past you to see if anybody else is in the alchemy room, and basically dashes to you and gives you a big hug and says, "They killed him. They killed my father." And that's where we're going to end it.
Okay.
Bum, bum, bum.
New targets.
Yes, there will be vengeance.
Oh.
Sarabella playing the pronoun game.
Granted, it may be the cold vengeance, but yes.
And this will be the end of the Cherry Bomb chapter. I will let you know what the name of the other chapter will be when we start it next session.
All right.
That being said, our next session will start. Oh, come on. Alright, so that's going to be the 24th, I believe. Yes.
Yep, the 24th.
Yep, should be the 24th. You want to do the outro?
Yes. Sorry for the abrupt ending to this tale that we have, but I want to let y'all mull over that and meta as you please for our next session. Though try not to rush back to the village if that's not exactly what you're going to be doing at that moment. So if you were contemplating not going back to the village yet, then do that. But if you're making your way towards the village, then continue and do that. Try not to use your information that I've just given you to sway your decisions and such. That being said, we'll find out what y'all are going to do next session. So Kellum, the wolf is going to want you to stay away from the grove, or at least he's going to want to stay away from the grove. Okay. And then y'all could, decide what to do with that. He's wanting to go hunting more and find out your personality. Basically, he can. He's still trying to figure out how much he can trust you.
Yeah, so Kellum won't return to the grove until the wolf is ready to return to the grove.
Okay.
And unless somebody finds Kellum and informs him of the events that have happened, he'll just, do his normal, more or less his normal thing from before becoming a warden.
Okay.
And roam the forest with the wolf. He will no longer just wound the creatures. He will go for the kill shots.
Shoot the kill.
Yep, shoot the kill. So that the wolf realizes, he was being nice before. I will deprive him of the joy of the hunt, I guess. To like, all right, which one do you want, wolf, old man? You want me to let you get the running in, or you want me to just kill it for you? Yeah. So he'll just stay out there with it until Kiwi is ready. His main focus is going to be earning that trust.
I have a timeline that I have in my mind, and then we can try to use things that maybe whittle that down a little bit and such. So okay. And we're talking days that it's going to take him some time to get past his old programming and try to utilize new self-programming, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
Because he's been part of a pack, his whole life. So, it
takes time to domesticate a wild animal.
Right. Even an intelligent one. Banthor and Kellum,
Kellum.
Excuse me. Banthor and Ashra. My apologies. I do that a lot. Your general attitude, now that you have a little bit more of the book and such, some of that knowledge, it seems to be pointing towards a particular forest that is not the grove, and that's how they were able to enter into the grove.
Right.
So there may be some, searching for this particular place.
Yeah.
So,
or
you could go straight, or you could go straight to the grove. Go ahead. What was that again?
What was that phrase again that he saw? About the egg and the path?
So the egg showed me the path.
Okay. I want to make sure I had that correct. The egg showed me the path.
Yep.
Follow the egg, bricked road.
Follow the egg. No, follow this the sandal. No, follow the gourd. Sorry.
I think definitely, especially once he tells her egg showed the path, she'd be interested in that. She'd be torn, between wanting to go back to the grove and wanting to kind of decipher a little bit more about this. So she probably look at Banther like, so I understand if you want to return back to the grove, but it seems that this is leading to a different path. And I kind of want a detour to go look, see if I can figure this out.
So the general gist of it is that it's not so far off from because it would lead you to the groove as well. So it's not like you're going to be going, you know.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
it is a localized.
So she's like detour, like not just heading straight back into the grove. She's going to detour around, see if she can find this specific spot.
I would rather head straight to the grove and regroup, but I did say I'd stick by her side, and I mean it. So I'm okay with a small deep.
So when we pick up next session, we'll continue on our separate paths for a little while until the buzzing in our ears leads us back to the grove, I guess. I'll give you some XP for the adventure today.
What's that? We all leveled up again? Okay.
No. Not quite. Let's see. Excuse me, I'm broken over here. Had too much soda. Let me look at the
real quick, I am going to mute myself here and go do the Twitch outro.
All right.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you all for watching today. I appreciate it. We will be back for Fallout on Saturday the 16th. And then Fallout again on the 23rd. And then this D&D campaign again on the 24th. So stay tuned for that. The group is still separated. We're still trying to find our way back to each other after the little bit of argument we had the last session. But it's interesting. Everybody's kind of pursuing their own paths at the moment and finding some new things out about themselves. So tomorrow, X4, the Saturday Fallout, X4 again, another Fallout campaign the following Saturday. We got the Fallouts back-to-back, back-to-back Saturdays because of the Easter weekend. We wanted to avoid that. So make sure you stay tuned for that. And until then, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.